Hi, seasoners. Happy Sunday. Well, well. Here we are. We're going to be starting off this new week. I just I wanted to make the video, I think, because I always try to make it to what I'm personally going through, experiencing. That's the whole reason why, I made the channel, is to let you know out there, anyone, that you're not alone. You're definitely not alone. You're not struggling alone. You're not in this thing that we call life alone. We're definitely not alone. We feel alone, but, like, I, I want to say I'm in, not in spiraling, but I was spiraling earlier today. Um, a little background story or info. My youngest came from out of state where we lived. Came over for Friday to today, and she had to do some things. So she brought her boyfriend, whatever, and she has her own dog. So of course, my little space here, when they do come, it's great. It's full. There's people talking, laughing. You can have a human connection. We actually both talked, and it was kind of like the old days where it was like, oh, this is cool, like getting to know what she's going through, and how she's doing and feeling and all that in her relationship in life. And just like always, I always know, if it's either one of my kids or if it's my boyfriend, I will not be good for the day that you've left. It's like a sinking, like a sinking heart feeling, like you can feel it, like in the pit of your stomach. You're just like, this feeling right here that I'm feeling, I don't like to feel it. And I think I've talked about this before, like the whole anxious attachment thing. Literally, it makes me spiral. And when I say spiral, sometimes, okay, this is what I do before anyone comes over. Okay, so today is like Wednesday or Thursday, for example, and everything's fine. My nervous system has calmed down. I'm in the groove of work, home life, by myself as usual. You're fine. You're getting through this. You enjoy your alone time. Blah blah blah. I know I'll return back to that stage or that state. But man, and I'm in a state right now or in a town right now that has a lot of mental health issues and people dealing with that problem, and I can totally see how someone could spiral so fast, get into the whole mindset of, what am I doing here? Why am I here? I'm alone. Like I could list like so many things like I was feeling this morning, or even till right now, like, and I get dark with it, if you know what I mean. Like I go dark. And I'm not saying that everyone has experienced it, but I know people in my life, friends, family, everyone have had thoughts of like, why am I here? What's my purpose of life? Am I really just supposed to get up, go to work, come back home, and rinse and repeat? And then I started thinking about that, and I'm like, what am I doing? Yes, I have come to the conclusion that I do like my peacefulness, my come and go, my do whatever I want, but I think finally, ultimately, I'm like, I want my person here. I want to live with people. I need I, myself, I'm not saying anybody else, I'm not saying you can't do it by yourself, but for me, the type of personality and the type of person I've been from the beginning, I need I need that connection with somebody. And even prior to being by myself, um, like I said, my kids have lived with me. Eh, yeah, it's just that's just what I'm gonna say I prefer. I really, really prefer company. Um, and I was thinking like, yeah, I like my alone time. I like to do my own thing, watch my own shows and whatever. But I think ultimately what I want out of life is to have somebody by my side. And I'm not saying glued to me. I'm not saying I need you there 24/7. But when someone lives with you, you see him in the morning, you see him when you get home, you interact, it's just that feeling of you're part of something with somebody. And it doesn't even have to be like with a specific like relationship person. It can be with any family member. It can be with your own kids. It can be with anybody. Because I'm just so damn tired of like I really get nervous. When I start to feel like this. But what I did notice that helped me, and I'm not really. I mean, yes, I do believe in God. I do believe in all of that. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit here in my head. I'm just gonna pray about it. I'm gonna pray about it. I'm gonna leave it to the higher power as it may, because I think for me mentally, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted with the ups and downs of my life right now. And I'm kind of like exploring different things in my head. I'm exploring, I'm not really happy with the job I have, so I'm exploring something else, so another job. I'm definitely not happy where I'm currently at. This is not my final destination. I want to buy a home. I have goals still in life that I want to achieve before my time is up. And like my daughter, she's struggling a little bit with her relationship and what she wants to do with herself. And I was finally like, you know what? You need to live life to the point where you're happy, to the point where you're satisfied with yourself. Like, you feel purpose, you feel whole, you feel complete. Don't stay stuck in something just because you feel like there's nowhere to go. Because when I was married, I was stuck. I made myself stuck, not necessarily him. Yes, the things that he did stuck me. It stuck me there. Because I was, scared, felt like I had nowhere to go. Had the excuse of having kids in the home, and just being fucking scared, just not knowing. It's like, somebody help me, somebody tell me, you know what, I feel you, I've been through it, you're gonna come out on the other side. And there's been situations in my life that I didn't feel like I could come out from, that I am so surprised that I am standing here today talking to you, because I went through some shit. I went through some shit. I went through the domestic violence in my marriage. I've been through relationships where I was just used. And I felt used. And then looking back on it, was like, yeah, that was never going to go anywhere. What were you thinking? And it really comes down to how I feel about myself, and how maybe I was programmed as, a child to take on things and feel things that, have carried over in my adult life. And I'm really, at that point where it's like, yeah, this is fine. I can probably I know I can. I get through my days. But there's something bigger for me, I still feel. And, I don't want, it just ultimately comes down to not being alone. And I'm just going to have to accept it. And, and I feel like my boyfriend needs to really step up. He needs to be here more. He needs, I don't know, like, with that thing, that situation, it's just something entirely on its own. But I'm just here because if you're going through ups and downs in life right now, in this season of my life, I'm in my 40s, man, like the struggle sometimes is really real. And, I don't want to keep saying that. And I want to keep, like, being on these videos and, like, complaining and blah, blah, blah. But, there's days, like, you see, like, I have my days. I have more than my days. I try not to be my old self, but, whew, man, like, sometimes it's just, I'm speechless. Like, sometimes I like to have, I'm literally sitting here and I'm like, somebody pull me out of this, So I guess I get in a funk. For sure, I get in a funk. Give me maybe till tomorrow, if it takes that long anymore, to kind of feel semi-normal. But I also do feel like I do struggle because I know my kid's unhappy, and struggling in her own things. So, of course, it makes me worried. But I just want to get on here and say, if you're spiraling over something, you're spiraling over relationships, work, finances, just anything in life, anything that you're going through, I feel ya. I feel ya. Like, I don't want to say I had a hard life, but I didn't have a hard life up until the point when I got married. And then I kind of feel like things started to be a little bit more like, what the hell is this? Like, why? Huh? And then people in my family, started passing away. They were older. And then the dynamics changed. And it's like I lean more on to people I wasn't used to leaning on to. And, yeah, of course, we all have past. And we all can look back and be like, oh, yeah, that's what's doing it. Oh, yeah, that's what's doing it. But, we're still here. We still have to drive this car through life every day. And it's like sometimes I just am like, honestly, I'm tired. Like, I'm not tired of, like, physically, but I'm just tired mentally of trying to pull myself out of a funk every time. Like I have people here where I hang out and then I have to go home and then I'm back to like, oh, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I hope that you know what I'm talking about. I think you get kind of, hopefully from watching my videos, you kind of know, like, I do have that anxious attachment thing going. I'm newly, by myself, since October. So I had to give it over to the higher power. And whatever you believe in, you don't have to believe in God, but whatever higher power you believe in, or if you don't and it's just all you, that's wonderful. But I think for me, it's scary. It's scary for me, honestly, because I really don't have an outlet, so to speak. Like my friends, back where I came from, yeah, I'm sure that I could probably call them, text them, whatever. They'd be right there for me. But I've also noticed too that with myself, like when stuff like this happens, lately, I hold that in. I hold it in. I'll be quiet. You won't hear from me. It's because I'm like processing it internally, and I'm like, I need to process this and feel these feelings. Otherwise, if I don't feel them, they're still gonna be stuffed down somewhere, and I don't want to feel them anymore. Like let me process this stuff now. Like this is gonna make me cry because it's like let me process my feelings on my own, and then I'll get over it. But I'm tired of doing that cycle. Ultimately, I think it's just I know what I've been wanting for so long, like the whole marriage thing again, I want the second marriage again. I want to be in a marriage that's loving, that's that's actually honest and pure, and you grow together and you do stuff together. I didn't have that in my first marriage. I didn't. It was a shit show. There's domestic violence. There was cases dropped. It was just a lot, and I was super young, super young, and being, going through all that kind of stuff. I'm like, man, like I definitely want to marry again. I definitely want to experience what an actual marriage is supposed to be like the true definition. Whether it just be some kind of fantasy in my head, I would like to experience something like that. I don't know. It's like, am I looking at like me choosing the wrong people? Am I sabotaging it by my thoughts? You know, there's so many things that I think about now after somebody leaves me, and my like nervous system is wonky. It's like off kilter. So off kilter right now. But I mean, I know that I'm going to get through it. I know I'm going to get past this feeling because I always do, right? So, what I'm trying to say is hang in there because all we really got is ourselves. We came in the world by ourselves, we go out by ourselves. God forbid, like, something happens, or you get sick, or something tragic happens, you know? I have regrets for not doing certain things in my life. And I don't want to keep having regrets for not doing the things that I want to experience in life. And sometimes I can't even say it's regrets. Sometimes it's like, well, it's just not happening for me. So I can't have that regret. It just hasn't presented itself to me yet, kind of a thing. So is today a little bit hard for me? Yeah. And it's because she left today. But I'm really trying to keep it together. I really, really am. So the point of my little story here is like, I just had to pray about it. I had to say, you know what? Please help me do this. Like, take this pain that I feel so deeply in my soul. Take it away. Just take it away because it's hard. It's hard sometimes. Life's not easy. I'm sure it can be. I mean, I have experienced it easier times in life. I think we all have. We've all experienced probably every kind of emotion in life. Maybe some have experienced worse things. I've experienced a lot of things. Teenage pregnancy, a young marriage, domestic violence, relationships that don't last, relationships with my kids that have been up and down for certain reasons. And then now I'm here and I'm trying to start over. I really am trying to start over. But I'm sorry, guys. This is like a therapy session and it's taking so much time. But I just want to come on here and say you keep going, even if you feel like you're spiraling. And if you get to a point where you need help, please contact somebody. Please either reach out to a family member or a friend if you don't want to call a hotline or something like that. For me, this right here is my little therapy. I'm sure I need more. I'm sure I need to talk it out more. But I'm just saying, like, we're all in this crazy world together right now, and let's just like really try to make the best of it and get through our days. So comment, hang in there. You know, we'll get through this. We'll get through this. All right, guys. I hope that your week is peaceful, not stressful, easy breezy. But we'll be talking more during the week. I'll check in on you guys, and then I'll definitely let you know how I'm doing. All right, guys. Have a good Sunday.